Hi guys, this is Kemi John.
And this is Gabriella, and welcome to another episode of
BrewingHER. We're super excited as usual, and today we have another special, juicy conversation topic for you. And we're not just here alone, as you can see, right?
A babe and more. A babe and what? More.
And more. I'm so excited. You guys, our very first ever guest of the show.
So excited. Yes.
Give it up for Mrs. Krista Giwa. I know, like drum rolls. Yes, I know. Don't worry, we'll put it. Put it. All right, we're gonna let you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll dive into the topic of the day. Okay? All right. So let's meet you.
Well, what do you want to know?
Your name. I mean, we already know your name. What you do. Your marital status. Your home. Just anything you want to give us.
Well, I'm Krista Giwa, and I'm just a stay-at-home mom. And
No, don't say just.
That's the hardest
That's the whole job.
That's the
okay.
hard
Okay.
job.
Yes.
A stay-at-home mom. It's a very difficult job.
Yeah.
Very amazing. You know. And what else?
Mom of
two, two boys.
two beautiful
One of them is
boys.
my boyfriend.
One of them is my husband. Excuse you.
How did you guys get married?
Family past family. Family past family.
Okay.
Anyways, on a more serious note, we're super excited to have you.
Thank you for having me, ladies.
Especially
I appreciate
within like a short period of time and actually agreeing to come here.
Yeah, we
Anything
really
for you
appreciate.
guys.
we
I'm
love
happy
it.
to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yep. So you guys, we're going to be talking about intimacy in a faith-believing home, you guys. We're going to dissect
What's
every
intimacy?
question.
You need to
I like that. That's
Me
part of
too.
the question. We need to dissect all the questions. We have a couple questions that we're going to be asking you today, and then we'll shed light on some of those conversations as well. All right, so Gabby asked, what is intimacy? Tell us, what's intimacy?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Okay, our guess, what's intimacy? What
you're
is
gonna answer
intimacy?
it. I was like, okay.
I know, she dished it out and she has answers. Okay, so tell
Well,
us.
To me, intimacy is simply closeness. Closeness between your partner. That it's like another layer of love.
Absolutely.
Just plain old closeness.
Yeah.
Simple.
For me, I think intimacy is all about connection, which closeness is connection as well. Like how deeply connected you are with somebody. I don't think it has to do with just your spouse, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It could be,
A friend, a
sexual
family.
intimacy is different.
That's
different.
different,
right?
Yeah.
But like just intimacy as a word, as a term, I think is just having that close connection to somebody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Times you guys spent together, memorable moments, you know.
Yeah. Understanding. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So we came up with some questions, obviously, that we want to share and dive into. And I know you were like, all these questions,
They're like jump
worry.
questions.
jump questions.
Don't worry, we're going easy. We'll go easy on you.
Yes. So let's dive into it, you guys. So our first question is, how does faith impact your understanding and approach to intimacy? Like, what do you understand by intimacy when you think about it in a faith light as well?
Well, I can only speak for myself.
Yes.
As a Christian, you know, everybody knows, any Christian knows, God is love. You know, Christ loved the church. So that love is the foundation. If you don't love God, you're not going to know how to love your partner.
True.
You know, so
I love it.
True.
Yeah.
I love it because I've actually heard that before.
if you don't, like, it's just, for example, someone has always told me, you want to marry a God-fearing man or woman.
Word. Should be
We always tell people here, right?
Another person's telling you now.
Because
Preach.
when they fear God, they're less likely to
Misbehave anyhow.
misbehave in the marriage.
Yeah.
I don't want to cheat on my wife because God can punish me. It's
Yeah.
true. You know, so when you love God, your marriage is hard. It's a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
Because when you love God, you fear God, everything else is normal. It falls into place.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and with that, you may not know how to be intimate with your partner, but that love will have, you're more likely to, you want to learn, this is what Kemi likes. I want to learn how to do it. You know, you're more likely to, I don't know it, but I want to learn to love you. I want to learn to be intimate with you in the way that you want me to be intimate with you.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Absolutely. I've heard somewhere that for you to have a solid relationship with anybody, even friends, you first have to have a good relationship with God.
You have to.
That's the foundation. Like
Yeah.
without it, you basically would just keep learning, keep wondering,
Yes.
like, how can I do this? Meanwhile, if you have a good relationship with God, it just
Yes.
helps you because, like you said, there's that fear as well.
Yes.
As to like, I don't want to. It's not even like fear. Like I don't
I
want
feel
God to strike me.
I think it's more
Yeah.
like guidelines.
Yeah, it's
guidelines.
like it's
Exactly.
like respect. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to do something that will hurt
Yes.
God. I mean, I don't know if I can
Yes.
say that. Like I don't want to do something that He will feel disappointed in me for. So because of that, it helps you guide how you relate with humans as well.
Yeah,
Guidelines, I
especially
like
like
that.
your partner too.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That's solid. Okay, next question.
Well, the next question is, what role does communication play in fostering intimacy in a faith-based home?
Yes, so I think that's very important.
Yeah.
So important. Yes.
Yes, so
So, like,
It is.
Like you said, you can only speak for yourself. So like you speaking for yourself, like what role did communication play?
In
Intimacy.
between my partner and I. Oh man, it couldn't have worked without it. You know, there's this thing called being Nigerian.
Speak about it, please.
Like there's this thing called being Nigerian.
Yes, so
There's pros and cons to it, and we're not taught to communicate. You know, even to communicate can be deemed disrespectful.
oh,
You know,
yes.
so when culture can be a good and a bad thing, it can cause problems in the marriage. You know, when two people, I thought I could communicate, but I'm still learning. You know, and then my husband is very quiet. His family, they're very quiet. So it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because when it's time to communicate, oh, I want you to hug me more, I want this from you, you think they will know, but if you don't communicate that, you'll be surprised how much a lot of people don't know a lot of things about the things that you need to do in marriage and when it comes to being intimate. Like, if you don't communicate and you keep thinking, he should know better now, he's an adult.
But you
know,
know,
assumption.
women were
Should
really
know
good at
better.
that.
Yeah.
That's,
You'd be surprised. Like, people just don't know these things you consider basic.
Yeah.
Like, it's simple. You should know.
Yeah.
Some people actually don't know.
don't know, yeah.
You
Because
know.
your background is different from their background.
Exactly.
And what you want, like somebody used to tell me, they die. Your husband is not a magician. He doesn't know what you're thinking. He doesn't
Yeah.
know what's in your
It's not.
heart. Yeah.
Assumption is the beginning of
Yeah.
failure. Don't
Yeah.
ever
Don't
assume for
assume
anybody.
that.
Assume.
Yeah.
That's powerful and very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to assume. You should know now.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah.
and hug me.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't know. And he's probably thinking about other things. Like,
I'm so glad you're saying
know.
this, because I still feel that way.
I still
I'm
do. Too.
I'm growing, obviously.
Yes, you have to teach
So
yourself
I'm
how to
glad that I'm not crazy.
No, you're not. You're not crazy. Trust me. Even with men and women that have been married 50 years, they're still struggling with that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like one thing that I used to hear on social media is like Nigerian men don't know how to be romantic.
Huh.
Do you
I
think
don't
that's
know.
part of?
I think it's so much generalization, because
Not
some
all
of them,
men. Not all
especially
of
with
them
what
are
you
that.
said, some want to learn.
Someone to learn,
Even if they
which is
don't
a
know.
Great thing if
Yeah.
they want to learn.
Yeah. Some Nigerian men, they can romance. What's romance? Is it money? Can spend
It's
money
not about
on you?
money.
Because they can spend money.
That one they are good at. If it's money aspects, they are especially Igbo men.
To some people, that's romance
And that's if
already.
you like that.
That's
Some
what I'm
women
saying.
like
That's
that.
if you. Some people they don't care for the money.
Yeah, they care for
Yeah.
the time, quality time, and all those
Quality
stuff.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Very, very true. Very true. Gabby, what do you think communication? What role do you think communication plays with intimacy?
I think it plays a lot. Like she said, it plays a lot because, like I said, he doesn't know what you're thinking or she doesn't know what you're thinking. You can't just assume that and she should know that I like to eat beans in the morning. No,
Yeah.
if you don't tell her, she's not going to know that. Like if I offend you as a friend, I expect you to come and tell me.
Tell
Don't
me
assume.
about it. Don't assume or don't
I
bottle
used
things
to do
up.
that a lot, and that thing backfired on me.
Bottling
Like, I
things
assume
up.
as my friend, like you should know you've hurt my feelings, but no, this
Sometimes
person
they
didn't
actually
know.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. People just go about living their lives, not knowing that they actually did something to you.
yeah.
So it's very important to communicate, you guys.
And
It's
you
very
always have to
important.
keep in mind that it's not always intentional. You know, just 'cause they don't know,
Yes,
doesn't mean that they
yes. Oh, I
intentionally,
used to feel like,
know.
God forgive me. I used to legit feel like this is intentional.
Intentional.
Yeah,
I used to feel like for you to not know this, because I used to call them basic things.
exactly.
Because I thought they were
Basic. To you,
No.
they
To
are.
me, yeah. So when you don't then do those basic things, it's like
You're
you know what you're
intentionally-
doing. Like
yes.
there's something behind this
Yes.
thing for you.
Yes.
But to cut the long story short, when you now actually sit down and have that conversation, it's like I wasn't even thinking of the same thing we're thinking of. Especially in that moment, my mind was probably somewhere else.
Yes.
Things are different, and then you obviously you sit and ask yourself, why all these elongation? Because sometimes you elongate things for
Yeah.
no necessary reason.
I'm still guilty of that. If
Yeah.
you know, if you offend me first time, I'll be like,
yeah,
it's when it's like it has gotten to then I'll not have like a whole explosion. But
yeah.
we're learning.
I used to withdraw when I feel like you're not on my level.
I do that a lot.
I will just
It's a
withdraw.
bad
You just
habit
see me
with
that
me.
I'll just withdraw
I'll go
from
into
you.
my shell.
Yes, yes. Oh, I like that you said your shell.
shell.
Because
I'll go into my
most of the
shell
time
a
it's
lot.
not even because of you. It's like
To
me
protect
kind to
myself.
protect myself.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yes. It's like me trying to
attacked.
protect myself. Shaking tables
Where's
here.
your side?
I'm a cancer
I
baby.
know. That's why like I feel attacked. I need somebody to support me.
Yes. Yeah, no, for real. So sometimes I'll just go into that shell, not because I'm against
Not
you.
you.
It's just me trying to protect myself from that moment.
Yes.
And it's growth, actually learning that you don't have to take too long to solve or communicate something. If it's wrong, just say,
Yes.
you know, all those things.
It
It's
takes-
growth.
But I think you're better though communicating your feelings than
Oh, yes,
I am. She's
yes.
way.
Yes.
She
yes.
will tell you sometimes right there as it's
Right there
happening,
as
and
it's
that's it.
happening.
The
Let's
moment
go.
she doesn't say it, just
That's it. That's
And
when
a
I
good
now
thing.
withdraw.
That took me years to learn. I used to just, you know what? Since you are doing that, I'm just gonna leave you.
Leave you
alone.
alone.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you are, and I'll shift away. But I had to teach myself to speak on it.
Speak it,
that
say it.
moment. Or else the person can easily deny it.
Oh,
Or they're like, "What are you talking about? You're crazy. You're doing
Yes.
too much."
Yes.
No, when you speak on it at that moment, I learned. It took me so long. That thing is not.
It's great.
I think you guys
good
need to
to
teach
have.
me
Yeah.
how you guys do it because
Do you think, because I've heard people say that's actually very blunt, or like
You
I don't know
have
if it's
to
being
be.
blunt or being like passively rude.
I call it setting boundaries. You have to set boundaries with your spouse. You have to set boundaries with your kids. You have to set boundaries with your parents. Everybody, because if you don't, you're setting yourself up for this. Like you have to protect yourself, even from everybody that loves you or you love, because they're all human beings.
yeah.
Especially Nigerians. You have to set boundaries, or else they
Is
will
the
just-
especially with Nigerians
Because
for
we
me?
know ourselves
I'm
now.
telling you, they're hardcore.
Yeah, and it takes courage, it takes strength,
Yes,
and,
it does.
and being political as well, because you can be politically or politely respectful and disrespectful.
Yeah.
I learned that. I'm like, I can say no politely.
Politely,
you
yeah.
know. Before I ask you my next question, I want you to tell us how long you've been married, because I feel like people would like to know, like coming from you. Obviously, we want to know these experiences that you've gathered. How long has it been?
Been married. I got married 2015, so I want to say 9 years.
A round of applause, a round of applause, a round of applause.
We'll get there.
We're getting there. So we're definitely learning from you. I wanted to establish that so that people know, like when you say these things, there's a reason. You've probably gone through it or heard or
And like
heard
they say,
somebody.
experience is the best teacher.
It's the best teacher. It's the best teacher. Okay, my next question is, how does one navigate differences in beliefs about intimacy, especially with their spouse, to ensure that intimacy is mutually fulfilling? For instance, like my partner doesn't like intimacy in this aspect. Like we were just saying, some Nigerian guys or men, they don't like to communicate, or because words of affirmation, that's a sign,
public show of affection.
that's a love
People don't
language,
like
right?
that too.
Some people don't like that. Versus you, maybe let's say versus you like words of affirmation, you like for you to cuddle, you like for you to do PDAs.
Yeah.
How do you then navigate that if there's a difference between you and your spouse?
We have to go back to communication and acceptance. You know, for example, my husband, his love language is service. You know, but mine is hug me, hold me.
Yes,
You know, tell me you love
physical
me.
touch. Oh,
Yes.
so your words of affirmation too.
Look,
Yes.
look at them.
And physical touch.
She's my sister, you guys. So like, you know how we always say you are alike with my husband.
Yeah.
Finally, I have my twin.
I think I need him
I
here,
have
please.
my twin, please. Okay.
Like, that's me. But he thought that my love language is service because he's service.
Service.
We talked about that. We talked about that. Yeah.
Oh my God. I hate it actually.
Yeah.
So like, I hate it.
It's not your priority.
It's just not me. Yes.
Yeah.
You can do all these things, but if you don't hug me today, I'm thinking he doesn't like me. So should I talk to him about our marriage? He does not hug me today. You know?
Oh my gosh, you know that
I'm
meme?
so dramatic.
There's a meme that is online that the wife will come and be like, do you still love me?
That's it.
Yeah,
If I die today, will you marry another wife?
Yeah, like that is me right there.
That's so funny.
And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
You hug me today. Are you happy? You know,
It's all very insecure.
It's so
Are you
bad.
happy?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
bad. But that's just who I am. And
Yeah.
I've learned this is who I am, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
I can't change you. I'm not going to. And
Yeah.
So it's all about communication and accepting. So in our 9 years of marriage, it took us years to be able to, for him to stop, do less service and more of what I want. It took years, like communication, fighting, the crying, you know. But that's normal. People think that fighting and crying and the drama it's not a bad thing. It's part of building your marriage, you know, because
goodness.
you have to. It's a process. And at the end of it all, as long as the two of you are like, we want this to work, all this work should not be like, it shouldn't be difficult.
Yeah.
It's work, but it shouldn't be difficult if the both of you
Agree.
want it. You are agreeing and you're like, it's me and you against the world.
Yeah.
So it goes back to communication. You know what I like? It's not what you were raised to think it's normal, but the fact that you love me, you should be willing, like, I love her, so I want to be this way.
Do it.
I want to do the things that make her happy. You know, like, for example, when my mother-in-law, she's no longer with, she's in Nigeria now. When she would see how my partner and I would love on each other, she thought that was weird. Like,
They're different.
yo, you guys are
culture.
so weird. Like,
Generational difference. That's so.
but she didn't know the work it took for us to even get there. Like,
Yeah.
but finally at a place where, you know, we're both doing the things, we're understanding, we are like, okay, we're here, I know what she likes, what she doesn't like, so I'm going to do it. Vice versa. So to her, that was weird.
Yeah.
That was like, she's not
Yeah.
she can't be, she's not a witch because she goes to church.
This
and
love
she's
is
in
too
prayer.
much.
This love is not normal. Like, she married Lomode. Like, you know, things like that. But it's not where she came. It's
Yes. It was totally different for her, obviously.
it really was. So it's like communication. Communication and willing to learn. Having an open mind.
Right.
Open heart. You know, and that thing is very powerful.
Right.
Yeah.
When you learn to tell you, like, babe, that thing you did, like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's not defensive. Like, that's how it's a very amazing thing, but it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah, I like the word defensive. It takes time not to be defensive with like it's a form of vulnerability as well. Because at that point you're like, I know she's not trying to harm me. I know we're not trying to settle scores here. We're just figuring it out. Yeah.
And you always have to tell them, babe, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be rude. This is just me telling you what's in my heart. Because you have to constantly make sure they understand that I'm not attacking you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to help you understand me.
Yeah.
If you don't do that,
Yeah.
it's so easy for someone to get defensive.
Yeah.
You have to make sure they understand that, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I like. I just want you to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
One of the things
And I feel
that,
like the way you communicate it too matters.
Yes.
respectful.
Like, yeah,
You have to
I
be
always
respectful.
say it's not what you say.
It's how you say it.
How.
Oh, that's sweet
It
too.
really is.
One
It's
of the
true.
things that my husband said before we got married, I mean, he still says it now, is it's never you and I against the problem. I mean, it's never you and I against each other. It's you and me together, against the problem.
Yeah.
And that really helps with that defense mechanism too. Like, okay, we're not defending ourselves against each other. It's more like understanding.
There's a problem
Yeah.
here. We need to find
to
solutions.
fix. Yeah. So I have a question for you. So how long did it? Well, I guess two questions.
Yeah.
Did you ever, at the beginning stage, obviously, of your marriage, did you find yourself actually giving him what you thought was your love language, or what is your love language, which is quality time, physical touch?
Yeah.
You were giving that to him as well. Did he
I
ever
thought-
complain?
See, that's the thing. It depends.
'Cause
on
men
the
will
type
not
of person
complain.
You're married to some.
No, some
even-
men will though.
Really?
Some
Yeah,
men do.
some
Well,
men
I
will,
guess.
will speak up.
Because I
They'll
feel like
speak
it's
up,
women
yeah.
that really feels things more. Like we're the
Yes.
emotional ones that
Yeah.
would say, I don't feel like he loves me. Even though you are, okay, for instance, now his love language is service, right? Act of service. Even if you're not necessarily giving or servicing him in like giving him things or doing something for him, I don't think he would necessarily or did he complain and be like, well, you were not trying to help me cook this meal. You're not trying to help me wash this thing. All those kind of
speaking
vibe,
cook,
you know?
by the way, her baking skills.
Yes, sir. But no, do you get though? Like,
I get that.
do you like? Was there ever a time where you both were like, well, you were complaining about me not touching you, me not physically being present or whatever, but you too, when I need you to help me cook this, or I'm just using cooking as an example, when I need you to help me go carry this stuff, whatever, you're not there too. Did he ever feel that way?
A lot of men, not a lot of people don't even know what their love language is.
True.
That's what I'm saying. Men they don't know these things.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And then it's easier for people to tell you what's inside than others. For me, it's easy. I'm like a flood river. But for him, I have to dissect and do my research and then come up with a thesis.
Yeah.
And then this is the conclusion. That. Some people are just like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Nigerian men are like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it took me years because I thought that, well, my love language, I love to be held and hugged and was a confirmation. So I was doing the same thing to him.
Yeah.
But that's not his. His is service and, cook me a good meal and things like that. I know
Yeah.
you love me.
Yeah.
It took me a while to learn that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. It wasn't until we're married maybe 5 years that I knew that my husband loves jollof rice.
Wow.
And that was because we went to visit someone and she cooked it and he was like, oh my babe, I love jollof rice. You're just telling me this now?
5 years later.
5 years later.
Wow.
So it's for some people it's forthcoming. It's so easy for them to say so. For others not so.
It's
so
not
you
so.
have to be the one to mentally be like, what do you like? Ask, communicate, like have a conversation.
Yeah.
But I think having a conversation, that's if they know what they actually like.
Yeah.
But some men, or I don't want to use men, even women, they don't know.
Some women,
Yeah. Some women, you're very
they
right.
don't know what they want.
Yeah.
Do you think that them not knowing what they want makes it harder?
Oh, it does.
Oh, of course. Yes,
Oh,
I agree
yes.
too.
So
Yes.
annoying.
That's why you always have to do your own self-finding before you
Yes.
decide to marry somebody. Because it's never going to, well, some people get in there without actually getting to 100. Because they always say marriage is 100.
Yeah.
It's never, you just know 50% of yourself come into marriage. Now we have to figure out the 50 together. Yes, you will, but I'm just trying to say, like, would it not be better if you know more about yourself so that you can easily communicate and be
Yes.
like, this is my love language. This is what I like to do that will please me and all this stuff. Yeah.
I agree. It's really smart to know yourself. Don't get into marriage and you know nothing about.
And you know
yourself.
nothing about
You
yourself.
haven't found yourself. Like you'd be surprised how bad that thing is for marriage.
Because it's usually like, okay, you're arguing. You don't know what you want. I don't know what you want. What do we do? Right? Yes. So yeah, I agree. Okay. Our next question, Mrs. Gabby.
Is the Mrs. for me. How does one maintain intimacy during challenging times or period of conflict? So if you are not, this man has pissed me off today.
Yes.
But then again,
he wants to hug you.
You have that, when you're arguing or not in good terms with your partner, you just have that form of resist. Like, don't
come near me. Don't even talk to me, sis.
But still, especially when you have kids and they're seeing, you guys, you people are like a reflection to them. How do you still maintain that form of intimacy when you know that deep down, what you offend me?
I don't want to talk to you.
Well, man, I did not know that. I find it hard to forgive. Like, don't marry if you don't know how to forgive.
Yeah.
You have to forgive a lot. And I don't mean like cheating or anything like that. No,
it doesn't even have to be deep issues.
It doesn't have to be deep issues. It could be the littlest things. Like, you always fight. You always argue. You always have disagreements, opinions. You will clash. It's normal. It's okay. But if you don't know how to forgive all the time.
Yeah.
Because I have...
And almost immediately, sometimes.
Almost immediately. If you don't know how to do that, it's going to be so hard to move forward in your marriage because you always fight. Like, as quiet as my partner is, we fight.
I'm surprised. I'm
shocked,
actually perplexed. I'm like, what?
Because the way I see your husband, I don't think
that is capable of sneezing or fighting.
Oh, yeah. The way he walks, you can barely even hear him move.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, what?
That's why every time she says it, I'm like, you know.
Oh, no, it's human.
It's human, of course, right? Yeah.
Yes. I think we tend to forget that. Actually, knowing people from like outside.
Yeah.
Like, he is.
It's different now. It's definitely human.
Oh, we fight. We fight. Like, even though we fight, trust me, we argue.
Yeah.
I say mean things. He does too. He's not innocent. But what I'm saying is that 9 times out of 10, you probably be the one forgiven more than your partner. I've heard it a lot. Like, I have a lot of women that I talk to, marriage and all that stuff. And what I always hear is, why am I always the one to forgive?
The woman.
Yes.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
I thought I had a contrary. I
used to think women were more harder to forgive. I used to think the men would just be like,
I thought women would be like
harder to forgive. Like, it's you that has to initiate the peace.
But that makes sense because now I actually do that. And I used to think that something is wrong because now it's like almost like I'm growing into that phase. That's what I'm trying to say.
What phase?
The phase of actually being the one initiating the peace. When we were dating, it was always him initiating peace.
Yeah, same.
Right?
Same. How about you when you were dating?
I think I like violence.
Because it's sexy, I'm
the problem because...
Explain yourself, Scorpio.
I know, right? All the Scorpio people
like it.
Oh my goodness.
I think for me, it depends. If I'm the one that actually did something wrong, most times I tend to like, okay, I'm fine, I'm sorry. But if it's the opposite side,
you know,
no.
Yeah,
you have to come and tell me I plead Jesus.
That's funny. I just feel like for me, I guess maybe I should say I've grown to not take things to heart anymore. Especially with my husband. With friends, maybe I can still be doing shakara. Yeah. But because I just know we're here together. There's no what's the point of But okay, yeah.
Yeah, you are going to be the one to always, all right, come on, let's talk about this. All right, come on, let's figure this out. Because there's this thing that I if I were to start over and marry again, it's one thing I always do. We pray together before going to bed. And I'm the type of person, when I'm angry, I don't pray.
Yes! Yes! I'm so guilty.
I'll be like, I don't like you right now, so I'm not praying with you.
I'm so guilty. Or he says, you lead. I'm like, no, you pray.
Yeah.
Pray.
You say, oh yeah, let's hold.
No, you
please.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because there's a lot that we hear about. Oh, don't go to bed mad at each other. Don't let the sun come before you.
It's hard. It's hard
nice,
to keep up.
but is
It's
it
really
really
hard to keep
possible?
up. Because like a lot of people usually think that marriage is just like just sweet. So when there's that actual fight,
Yeah, they
like
don't know how to respond.
I like the fact that she keeps mentioning we fight. So I want people to understand that marriage is not just sweet. It's kissing you, pecking you, bringing you flowers, all of that stuff. That's why there's some people, women, when they actually not get into the marriage, they've passed that honeymoon stage,
And the fight begins.
Like, no,
This is not the marriage I saw on social media.
This not
What is happening
don't
here?
believe social media. Oh my goodness.
I'm
When
like,
they are
no,
kissing
this is not what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
It
important.
is that, but and more.
And more. Yeah.
It's that and more. We fight, we say nasty things to each other. Oh, but as long as you're learning and you have the mindset of, I don't want to hurt you, and I won't do it intentionally.
I love it.
But if you piss me off, we're not praying together.
Yeah.
And then that now forces us to, okay, let's settle this so that we can pray. Because
pray.
really, you should not go to bed angry at each other.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a video on TikTok recently where, like you said, it's good not to actually go to bed and you guys are fighting. And this woman had asthma, but they went to bed fighting, and the man left her in the room. And she I don't know if any of you have seen the video. And
She died?
Yeah.
Oh
He
my
was angry. He didn't go check
He
on
didn't
her.
go check on her.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. No, that is
that
sad.
when I saw
not
that
just the
video, I was
Christian
like,
aspect. Things like that can happen.
yeah,
you know.
that's
I
hurtful.
think that's putting perspective to it for me. So it's like, you better watch
You
yourself.
better what?
Yes.
Yeah, because you don't know what's gonna happen
It's
tomorrow.
crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, so
So
sad.
you always got to have a heart of forgiveness.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not promised.
So the
Tomorrow is
next
not
second
promised.
is actually not promised.
Yeah. Okay, my next question is how do you maintain intimacy? And this time around, I want us to talk about is like sexual intimacy now. How do you maintain sexual intimacy during challenging times? Not just the hugging, not just the cuddling, not just the okay, I forgive you. Yes, how do you maintain that when you are actually, angry at each
I
other?
don't want to hold you.
Yes, exactly.
Man, there are times when we'll fight and I'll be looking at him like, oh God. Your butt looks good.
But what's the thing with women and men butts, though?
I love it.
What's the thing with women and men butts?
Tell me about myself. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
But
So funny.
I mean, communication, learn to forgive so you get some of that
Yeah.
booty.
Yeah.
But no. But really, it's really. Ask the question again. I really like that
how
question.
do you maintain it? How do you then address sexual intimacy when you're still fighting with each other?
Man,
Because some people just do makeup sex, and makeup sex is good.
It's good.
sex is
Yeah.
But like sometimes do you?
even angry sex is great.
Oh wow, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Please, where's my
Really?
notes?
So we're still
Let me write
fighting.
that down.
We're still fighting. I still don't like you, but we gotta do it.
Your butt
Off
still
your
looks
clothes.
good.
I love it.
I
love it.
We've been there.
I love
Trust me.
it.
But I mean,
Because at that point, communication is not really gonna do it.
communication is not gonna do it.
Because like, are we gonna say, okay, let's peg our fighting? We'll come back to
We'll
you
come
later.
back after we're done.
What are we communicating here? You know?
I get it. I understand, but man, I've really one thing that even kids, one thing that having kids has taught me is learning to communicate so that we can have peace. Like when you have been through so much in life, peace is like this amazing addictive drug that you want more of it.
Yeah.
So you get used to. I'm not saying no fight never happens though, but when you want peace in your home, you're less likely
to keep stretching it for
Yes.
too long. Yeah.
It's like I hate that we're fighting. I hate that we got this issue. It's like it's so weird in the
Yeah.
house. It's
Yeah.
weird between us. I don't like that.
Energy is just
The
like,
energy,
yeah,
you know. So it's like when you finally learn to communicate, and you're like, hey, let's figure this out, or do you need space? Should I leave? Go somewhere? When you learn that, all of these things, it's like normal. It becomes like nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's never going to stop. You're never going to stop working in your marriage, but it gets easier, especially if you want it to be easier. Yeah.
And I want to say though, like, communication does not necessarily have to be verbal, right? Like, because the best things, even when you're fighting and you see your partner just be like hug you from behind or just like touch you,
he just melts.
and he's just like,
Look at them.
Like, okay,
so like you're communicating still, but it's just not verbally,
Hold me tighter, Joe. I get it.
right? So it's like you can still communicate, but it's not verbal. Maybe after then the whole thing has happened, has gone down. You can then come back and be like, but you know that thing you did doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe, right?
You know one thing I learned?
Yeah.
Conversations right after sex.
I see pillow talks, man.
How do you feel about this?
Scorpio.
I'm not going to say anything. When it comes to sexual, I'm not going to say anything because people have this notion that Scorpios are freaks.
That's what we need it now. Let's hear it.
I'm not going to say anything.
Why?
I'm not going to say anything because
you can't even say this with a straight face, though.
I think she has like wild thoughts in her mind right now.
Because
God.
Please, they're blushing.
Let's proceed.
I can't. Okay, do you want to take the next question?
Let's proceed. Okay. How does your faith community support or hinders decisions about like sexual intimacy?
I like this topic. I really do. See, if you're gonna be my community, you have to take me as I am, or else you're not my community.
But that's always very hard.
Especially like hard. When we're young,
especially faith-based community.
Yeah,
because there's doctrines, there are preconceptions. It's just okay. Well, I'm just gonna let you answer.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. Like the type of person that I am very open-minded. I'm very blunt. I'm respectful. I'm blunt. I like to talk about the real stuff. I'm not your typical Nigerian.
Yes. So, and that's what kills us too sometimes. Because when you hide, you truly are like this. But you keep hiding that. Because you just have this way of, you want to look a certain way outside within your faith-based community. Too much effort.
I get that.
She is like too much effort.
So, while the okay, for example, me, there are people, it's not everybody in church that you have to be close to.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay.
Absolutely.
But I believe that every man and woman, we all need that person, that religious person that you respect, that you can go and talk to about literally almost anything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be the whole church. It can be someone within that church.
Yeah.
And I get what you mean. It's very difficult to talk about intimacy, sexuality, sex, and all this stuff. But it can happen. You can talk about these things.
Right. I just feel like where the angle I'm coming from is the vulnerability part of it and like the trust as well. Because a lot of, even if you have one particular person in let's say in a church or a mosque, whichever your religion is, you have that person, the trust of also just being like, oh, whatever I share with you is going to be confidential. We're not going to be hearing around church. It should be, but most times, let me not say most times. Sometimes
it's not.
You hear your stories from the people you never even spoke about. Like, she was just telling us about her story before we started the podcast. I'm not going to dive into it, but like, you hear people, like, word get around and you just be like, how did you find out about this thing? I never told you.
Who did you tell?
We don't.
True. Who did the person tell? Because see, I'm a very private person. I've learned the hard way not to put my business out there. Especially in church. I'm very private because that thing happens a lot.
Right.
So
I'm not to say, I'm so sorry. I'm not to say there are not people in church that actually are trustworthy and good Christian,
but stories can still
people.
Spread.
Of course. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. See, me, I'm the type of person, I can laugh with anybody.
Yeah.
I can joke around. I can sit down and I could be your person, but I'm not going to go and tell my business out there.
Exactly.
You have to be careful.
Yeah.
But it's okay to also find that one person that you trust. And even if you don't even have that person in church, that's also okay too.
Yeah.
God can be your confidant.
Yes.
Like, there are things about me that my partner doesn't know, but it's between me and my God. And that's even okay.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're not able to be vulnerable the way you want to in the house of God, like in your church, in your religious gathering, you can make it happen. Bring awareness. You know,
I like where this conversation is going.
You know how long it took for us to start talking about anything sex, anything.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know the process, but I'm now seeing the outcome.
I've not witnessed
So
one yet.
It's getting better. Yeah.
I've not witnessed one yet.
Really? Oh my goodness! So
gotta
I definitely believe that we have grown.
Yes.
Especially like our particular church, we have grown because now we talk about things like that. We even to the point of talking about oral sex. We talk about sex toys, and I'm like, imagine if people generally all over the world, if they have this, because we always say church is somewhere to run to when you have problems.
Yes.
But like when you can't
problems.
even talk about some certain things because you're like, oh, I don't want to be too what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to be too raw or like worldly or something. Meanwhile, you don't want to be judged, right? So you keep holding up and like you withdraw, you don't say as much. Meanwhile, if you share that, you don't know who can say their own stories that you can be like,
exactly.
I can relate to that, or this can help me or something, So I think that's I like that we're definitely growing in that aspect.
Speaking of sex toys, I have a question. No.
What's your question?
I have a question.
Scorpio.
Go ahead.
The one and only Scorpio that we have on the show.
I have a question. My question is
Spell it.
Spell your question.
All right. So my question is, as we're speaking of faith-based community, home, and everything, and then you mentioned sex toy.
Is it okay to?
Is it okay? Exactly. Is it okay to, if you like to use sex toys, especially knowing what your partner likes and knowing what you like, and you like your partner to use it on you, is it okay in a faith-based home, or
I love it.
is it just maybe we are on our base or what?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Like, you and your partner, do you both agree? Is this what you want to do? Then why not?
Right.
As long as you're not doing, the Bible does have things you shouldn't do, even as a married couple. But it doesn't say anything about sex toys. For me, as long as my partner is okay with it.
Yeah.
I even had this discussion with my husband. I was like, hey, what do you think about sex toys? And he's like, it's not my thing. He didn't say, sin. Holy water upon you. No.
I love it.
It's as long as you and your partner have an understanding, and this is what both of you like, and you know that, hey, this is what we like. We're Christians, we're lovers of Christ, but this is what we like to do between ourselves, and it's just man and wife. Hey, I don't see why that's a bad thing.
But knowing our Christian community, don't you think there'll be like this form of guilt within like the individual
that you can't even come out and say it?
Yeah, like you can't even tell your partner that I actually do like when you use sex toys on me, or when I use it personally for myself, if that makes sense. Like there's this growing up, the way, especially if you're growing up in a Christian or faith-based community, I just feel like there's that form of guilt that you can't see. That's a sin. You can't say that out.
But then again, I don't know. In public?
Yeah, my question, I like that question, because I don't also agree with, even if you are doing it in your house, why do you have to bring it out to tell us?
I'm talking of your partner.
No. Like, what do you mean by
like
that?
Your partner being comfortable enough?
If you being comfortable enough to actually tell your partner that I like this.
No.
because it's not because you think your partner is going to judge you, but it's more of the personal guilt you we have to deal
just
with.
based on our society.
Just based on our society, exactly.
Okay,
Especially if you
I
grew
get
up
it.
in a very Christian home community, you know, and all of that stuff. Like, I just feel like there will be like a form of guilt.
Yeah.
Because when you mention masturbation or sex toys, it's like, is a sin.
But that's part of the vulnerability that you should have with your partner, though. Like, the moment you decide to be married to this person, you should be able to have that vulnerability with each other and then set stone for communication. Because if you're not vulnerable with each other, you cannot communicate your desires. Why are you together?
Don't marry someone that you cannot be vulnerable with, or you feel shame or guilt.
Yeah.
Because that thing doesn't go away, it just gets worse. You don't want to be with someone that makes you feel disgusted, you know, makes you feel like you're
lesser
or sin, or what you're doing is wrong.
It's wrong, yeah.
No, because that is just a recipe for disaster. Because I should be comfortable enough to say, babe, let's try this thing. Or I heard they were using this type of toy.
Yeah.
No, they were hanging people on the fan.
I don't know where you're hearing that from. Yeah.
Where are you hearing that from? I didn't hear that one.
I'm gonna try that at home.
Yeah. Go try it to my video. Go on the fan.
Oh my God. But no, you should be. Yeah,
you should be comfortable with your partner. Like, don't get me wrong. Human beings, we have times where we feel, you know, uncomfortable in our skin or in our thoughts. But with your partner, you should be able to lay it out on the table and say, this is me. These are my wants. These are my needs. You know, it's not comfortable for you, but try it with me.
Yeah.
Let's be vulnerable with each other and keep that trust between you. And you should be best friends with your husband
partner
or your wife.
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah, marriage is a covenant.
Safe space.
Yeah. Like, it's more than just like, on the surface level marriage. Like, you guys are one now. So whatever affects your flesh, you affect your partner as well. So like, you know, gotta be in that covenant.
Yeah.
Anyway, my next question is actually leading like this. I feel like we already kind of answered that because we talked about shame, we talked about guilt just now, and this question is like, how do you address issues of shame or guilt that may arise around intimacy within your faith community? So rather than just like you feel ashamed to tell your partner about it, it's more of like coming out to your community to say, oh, we indulge in this, so there's not a big deal. Trying to encourage
it's not even
others
about
to be like, oh, it's
talking
okay
about it, guilt. It's more like somebody like them, like me now. I like public show of affection. I want, if we're in church, I don't, if you want to grab my ass, my love, go ahead. It's right there looking at you.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, some people
I also believe that there are places for everything. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Like, don't be grabbing ass in church.
No, I'm not saying she go and grab ass in church, please. All I'm saying is, like, in church, I want to be able to, like, maybe I'm tired, my legs, or just rub my back or hold. Yeah. Some women or some people they feel
don't do that here.
I don't want people to come as
Why?
I've heard, to be honest, some people, they don't, if you're in church, just let's come, praise God. When we get outside, we can, you know,
we can do PDAs and whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I have a confession. I do feel a little bit weird when people do a lot of PDAs in front of me.
What's a lot?
Okay. And it's not even about the specific thing. It's when it's repeated. For instance, like kissing. I'm okay, you can kiss each other in front of me. But not when you're like getting in front of me and you're kissing, you're doing fresh.
Or in general?
Just in general. It doesn't even have to be in church.
You're
like, French kissing in front of me, you're grabbing ass in front of me. I'm like, get a room, man. Like, don't come and be like, get a room. Like, so now imagine if it's in church. Kilo day.
Is the get a room.
You know, like, so I can be biased about this conversation. So that's already
I get that. I get that. I'm like that. So I'm like, if you want to have sex,
like, just go get in the house. Like, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
If it's like, oh, you just found each other. Oh, hey, babe, you kiss each other. Oh, hey, you hug each other. Or like you said, you're rubbing each other. I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. That's your I even think that's cute. Like that's you bonding. But not when it's like every time, just hold this cup. Every time. They're always
but do you know that even at that, those little I think I stopped watching Nigerian movies. That's my problem. Those little I just hold my back or something. Some people in the same church will be like, I see only them kilo day.
Yes.
Are they the only ones that in love?
Yeah. Maybe when it's every time.
But that's the thing. That's just who they
But
are.
some people are really
They're just like that. That's just
if they're like, there are some men and women that are like, you'll be sitting next to your wife and you'll be doing
like, that's fine. That's actually
even
cute.
those little things is what I'm saying. Some people in church or in your community, let me stop using church.
You're just being a hater then.
Yes, you're just being a hater if that's disturbing you.
Let me tell you something. There are people in church that can be haters.
Yes.
That's weird.
That's
everywhere.
even to the point of just holding hands with your partner.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
Like, just your lip
That's
gloss.
weird.
Your lip gloss is
It's too glossy. It's too glossy.
You know,
The gloss is too glossy.
Yeah.
The gloss is too much.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You want Jesus? But
You gotta focus on what you
she
focus
likes.
on in
That's
church.
her lip
Please.
gloss.
Yeah,
Why
the
are you
reason,
so-
like I said, Nigerian movies, I need to stop. I saw a Nigerian movie. This man genuinely loves his wife. Like, he will open the door for her. He doesn't mind going grocery shopping for her. And, taking care of the kids, cooking for her. He doesn't mind.
That's not
like,
PDA
And you
though.
see
Like
some
that's
people
not
don't like that.
in the community, they were literally saying she has tied the man inside bottle.
Yeah. See, that's a Nigerian mentality.
Our mentality needs to shift as
crazy.
well. Definitely, because I feel like we term too much that shouldn't even be termed. Like, I've had people that will say, "Why is your husband the one pushing carts?" And I'm like, who should? Who should be doing
But
it?
what's
like,
your business?
I don't know. Why is your husband the one cooking for you? Like,
How is it your business?
What's wrong with that?
See,
like,
there's
just different things like that.
There's this Yoruba saying, right, that the wife is basically a glorified slave.
Oh my goodness.
So you have to understand that that's just a mentality.
yeah.
And when they see something that's different, opposite, they'll always think, why does he always have to be witchcraft? What if he just genuinely loves me?
That's true. They always think it's just, you must have done juju.
something.
Don't jazz.
Yeah.
You know.
And I feel community too plays a very big factor.
Yes, of course.
Because, like you say, what you teach the next generation matters.
Yes.
Our mothers, what they did, they saw their mothers worshiping their husbands, kneeling down, giving them food.
So they'll pass that on to you too.
But I feel like our generation,
Yeah, we're like.
Some of these men don't even like that.
Oh, I was gonna
They're not
say,
even attracted to that.
we need to give it up for men that are actually not like that, that don't have that mentality. If you still have that mentality in this day and age, and you're not like 50s or 60s, you have problem. Basically, because you need to get on the level of like your helpmate, like your help. Actually, I heard something from, I don't want to mention it, but that person basically said, you and your wife is your helpmate, not your helpmate. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, your wife is there to meet your, I guess basically your needs. It's there to meet your, like, help you. Not, I don't know how to explain it. We can probably dive into it, but I don't want to. But basically, your wife is not your glorified slave. They are supposed to meet your needs, help you grow, at the same time as you are helping them grow too. That's why when you marry the right person, you're not like slacking. You're actually together to make each other better.
Yeah, you can see, especially if, like you used to say, the Gabby you knew before
it's so different. Like, your husband has helped you grow. Like, you're now more, I guess, for lack of better words, like more, I guess, sophisticated, more mature, more grown, more mature is the word. And same as for him as well. Like, I'm seeing him, like, marriage, family is changing him to become somebody totally different. That's how it should be. Not that you marry now as a woman and then you start looking like a shadow of yourself because your husband is, you are a glorified slave to him. Like, nah.
I don't want to. If it's gonna hurt some people, I'm sorry. That's why I feel, which I'm not saying is right. A lot of like older generations, they get to a certain age, they always go look for younger girls. Have you guys noticed?
Because your wives are looking all tattered and like they've been used. Yeah, basically they've been used. I find joy, and I respect. That's why I said let's give it up for men like that. Men that actually they find desire in their wives looking
good,
amazing. Like
who
like
is
beside me?
Pride, yeah,
you're looking dope. Like I want to take care of you. Like I find joy in that. Like if you're out there that you have that character, kudos to you.
Yeah,
please
keep
continue
doing it.
and teach your
Why
sons.
do women fight that? Other women fight that.
Like what?
People will be surprised. Like me, I love makeup. I love to look good. That's how I was raised.
Yeah,
that's actually how our mother raised us. Don't leave the house embarrassingly.
I love it. I love it.
That was always her thing. So there was one time I went out. I had this dress, you know, like, and the lady was like, "Why you dressed like this? It's too much. What does your husband have to say about this?"
Like,
and I told her, "Ma,
he loves it though.
He's the one that chose this outfit."
Yes.
He told me to actually wear this.
Yes.
Like, he likes this.
Yes.
And so she was shocked by that.
Yeah.
That my husband would tell me
to wear
to look good.
Yeah. Like my husband would tell me, "Babe, wear the shorts," and the shorts is like.
Can you imagine? I love it.
And when I tell them that, they're shocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, why is that a bad thing?
I think it goes back to the fundamental problem of people always projecting their own insecurities and their fears on you. The fact that that's how you people do it in your house doesn't mean that's how we do it here.
Exactly.
You know, you say my husband likes me to wear shorts. Yes. Your husband might say, wear Iran Buba. I mean, go and wear the Iran Buba. I'm not saying come and be saying you want to disobey your husband.
Don't. Marry your person.
To which they are on too, you know? Yeah. I find joy in it. One of the prayers I prayed before I got married, before I even met my husband, was I wanted a man that is Nigerian. He has like culture. He has the homegrown culture, but his mentality is not Nigerian. It's not African. Yes. Yeah, backwards. That's the word. I don't want a man that has a backward mentality. It doesn't even look good. God forbid.
Yeah.
Especially when you live in a country like this. Oh my gosh, the worst one are the ones that they live here.
But
and it's still I saw a video online, a couple, and I think they were fighting, obviously. So the woman, I don't know the backstory obviously, but the woman was just saying there that I go to work. I don't know if he had a job too, or maybe he stays at home.
I think I know the video you're talking about. The lady was sending him out of the house.
Out of the house, yes. So she was saying that I think he wasn't working. I'm not sure, but she basically would go to work, and the guy would be in the house, I think, and still expect her to come home and still be the one to cook.
Take care of the home.
Take care of the house.
Take care of the children.
And the man was like, if you were in Nigeria, would you not do that? Why am I going to cook in the corner? Yeah. And I'm like,
uncle. Even some people in Nigeria, they don't do that anymore.
Even people in Nigeria, even people living in Nigeria don't do that anymore. Yeah. You're very right. So why would you, especially when it comes to like a place like this that sadly we don't really have a lot of community here. You can't go and put your child with your neighbor and say, help me hold my child. I'm coming.
It has to be somebody you know.
Trust. And if you have to go to work, you are probably thinking of, okay, now I need to put my child in daycare. I need to put the different things that you need money for. You can't just sit at home too and be like, oh, let me not work. Especially when you have a husband that, like I said, he wasn't working, like, right?
By choice?
I don't even know their backstory. I don't even know. But the point is, she was parrying like, why would you cook and chase the guy out of the house? My point is, if you're in this Western world, everybody wants to jackpot. Everybody wants to come to Western world. Beautiful.
Yeah.
But they always say, even though I'm not in support of forgetting your culture and letting it go, but like when you're in Rome, try now. Behave like a Roman. Like a little bit. Like you can't... There's a story by one of my older family members. So they told me like when they first moved to the US, they went to do like shopping at like normal grocery store. So she was the one pushing the cart, basically. Like they would put the grocery in the cart and then she would push it and everything. So her husband was following her as well. So this stranger of a man, saw her struggling with like the grocery in the carts, right? And he was like, oh, let me help you. So the man offered to help. They didn't have a cart then. So he offered to push the cart from the grocery store. Their house was not far from the grocery store. Push the cart to the grocery, from the grocery store to their house. And her husband was following them all through. So the man and my family member, they were talking and having a conversation. Like, obviously, you have to communicate while you're walking now. So he was like, oh, yeah, get cooking. So when they got to the house, to the apartment, she was about to open the door. The man noticed that this man that has been following us is still following us now.
Who is he?
And the man was like, who is this? He was like, oh, that's my husband. The man was like, you mean to tell me I've been pushing carts and your husband has been following us? Like, what do you mean? So like, it's just very, I think it's a barbaric thought. Like, you can be a helper. You can, especially when
what was the husband doing?
My dear, it was like just walking, like following them. You know, that kind of vibe. Like,
God.
Weird.
come on, like just when you come here, try and what's the code? Is it assimilate or not assimilate? Acclimate, like adapt to the culture here too. It's not helpful. It's just not. It doesn't even look good to me. I don't respect men like that. I'm sorry to say.
I can't stand them.
I don't respect men like that because I just feel like you're just so what's the word? Yeah, very. I guess useless. Sorry. Is the word. You're just useless. Is the word. Okay, so our last question. Let's just quickly ask our last question. Are there any certain scriptures or any religious books or any support materials that you found that have been particularly influential in shaping your view of intimacy?
Honestly, life. God, and then life. Life is God is life. Life is just our biggest teacher.
Yeah.
Because I come from a home, my mom taught me how to cook. You know, she raised me, learned to cook, learned to clean. But you get married and none of that stuff is what helps the marriage. You know, as much as you would think.
Yeah.
I had to learn what my husband likes, what my husband doesn't like. You know, how to building our relationship we learned through life experience day by day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying the books don't matter, but your best teacher is life.
It's your experience.
Yes. And conversations with God.
Yeah.
You know, God is not going to put you where he knows you cannot
handle.
Yes.
You know, so when you have the open heart to learn, you know, all of these things will come like that. You know, so if you love God, you are open to hearing from God. God is not going to guide you in the wrong way. And if you're always having a heart to like, I want to be a better wife, you know, and your husband too, men too, they have to have the heart to, I want to be a better husband. When you have that heart, things fall into place easily. I
love it. For me, some of the resources that I'm not a avid reader. I don't like to read. In fact, not even avid. I don't even like to read at all. So I don't do well with text. So I do well with more video and audio. And things like that. So, but for me, the things that I've seen or I'm watching are this Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo and his wife. I don't, it's not even like I'm always listening, but like sometimes I come across them and I'm just like, they just speak to my heart. And I'm just like, I wish a lot of people knew more about this.
Yeah, and then this is what that lady, I think it's Pastor Funke
Adejumo, like Pastor Funke Adejumo too, speaks to my heart.
Yeah,
you know?
And she's very blunt.
Yeah,
she's very blunt.
Yeah, she's on YouTube as well.
She said, you
better dress well. Yeah, you better dress well for your husband. And she's a pastor's wife. And she's like, you better dress well for your husband.
Look good.
Yes. Oh,
I love it. I always love it.
Pastor
Funke Adejumo. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Very nice. But yeah, those are my obviously there are more things out there. Brewing Her is also another one for you to tune in. I'll be sure tune in.
For you to listen.
For you to tune in. And you know, enjoy some of the tips that we give you as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about you?
Me, like you said, I'm not really a reading person, but I love to listen to YouTube, podcasts, and everything. And another thing that for me too is my background.
Yeah, of course,
like,
family.
I did not really see my mommy tying wrapper all over the house, so
you can't do that now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think my community, my background, my growing up, and then I had to unlearn some certain things, to be honest. But coming here, knowing what I like, I think that helped.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, before we round off and finished everything, there are just one or two game, but like I don't even know if I can call it game. If you were to choose marriage, or say no, you don't want to choose marriage, would you? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, I love being married.
Okay. What about you?
My love, I will marry again and again and again and again.
Marriage all the way, yeah, okay? Yeah. I think why I asked that question is just because of what we're seeing a lot of now about marriages and like how people think that, I guess I shouldn't just generalize. Anything can happen within your marriage that can lead to divorce. But like, I feel like some of the things that affects the divorce rate of this world right now is the fact that people think, oh, marriage is supposed to be rosy. Marriage is supposed to be nice. Marriage is supposed to be intimate. Oh my gosh, butterflies in my belly. That kind of vibe. So that's why it's important for us to have these kind of conversations today to know like she's been saying, you can fight, say nasty things to each other, but always have that mindset that you're in this together forever.
Yeah.
No matter the hurdle, the only reason why I can say people should divorce is if there's violence in it. Like if there's a threat to your life,
but mentally, physically,
whether mentally or physically, yes, you're right, because it doesn't only have to be physical. Yes. If it's also mentally, of course, then because I don't understand when people come back here and say, oh, we are divorcing because of irreconcilable differences. What do you mean? What is irreconcilable differences? Well, it could also be by maybe they just don't want to share why. So I don't know. But anyways, just if you're out there and you think that, your marriage, because let me tell you guys this. I saw on Instagram one day, this lady was talking about how she's genuinely tired of her marriage.
Why?
Yeah, so people asked her that question. She said she's tired of her kids, she's tired of her husband, she's tired of the whole concept of marriage.
Therapy.
Yeah, so some people, and she said this, she actually said it that this is not about, oh, I don't go on vacation, every time. This is not about, I've not talked to therapists. This is not about that. I just genuinely feel tired of being here.
Wow.
So
how old are her kids?
From the look of things, they're not too old. They're like, maybe it doesn't look like she's an older person. So obviously, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. So
because kids, to be honest, like as sweet as they can affect
your mental health,
not even mental, your marriage. Yeah, they can.
Yeah, so I think it's very important, Sha, for us to talk and shed light on the obviously it's always going to be difficult, the difficult side of marriage, and like the importance of finding yourself in that same marriage as well. Like, because you said, even with kids, you love your kids. Because she said it there. It's not like she doesn't love her kids or she doesn't love her husband. It's not like her husband does not help her in the kitchen or whatever. It's not like that. I think, to me, I personally think it's more of like a depression thing for her. Because that she might not have diagnosed, which seeking therapy and taking the antidepressant can help her. I don't know. Because she did well to explain that it wasn't like she doesn't go on vacation. It wasn't like her husband is not caring for her. It wasn't like she does not love her children.
Is it her? It could be her.
In what aspect?
I mean, because I wanted to ask, does her husband help her?
She mentioned that, like, it's not like he doesn't help.
Okay.
She mentioned that it's not like, oh, I have a terrible husband. It's not like that. So what could be the reason why she's just tired? I also shared another story with you. I don't want to, it's a celebrity. I don't want to mention name. But like they have 2 kids. Their marriage seemed like, oh, really nice and cool. And she decided that she wanted to get a divorce from him because she said she didn't like the version of herself that she's growing to be in a marriage. So she wanted to go find herself. I don't think, not to be judgy. Do you think that's enough reason for you to want to leave your marriage?
No. You always develop. You always change. I mean, you got to be with this person for years. You're not going to, the same Ella when you got married, it's not going to be the same Ella 5 years after marriage, in your marriage. You always change. You always metamorphosize. I hope I said the word right.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to leave your marriage.
Especially with kids.
With kids.
You have 2 children.
It's a bit selfish to me.
That's what people have been saying. That's what people have been saying, actually. That word is actually selfish, is what they've said, because now you're no longer thinking of anybody else. You're just thinking of yourself now, But, I mean, to each their own, honestly. Yeah. So,
but going back to that lady, you said it could be something inside, in her inner self. Honestly, unless this person is beating me or I'm beating him or there's sexual harassment, abuse or anything like that, I don't see myself leaving.
Sexual abuse.
You know.
I have a question.
You know.
But finish.
That I don't see myself leaving my marriage for that.
Yeah.
And even if you are changing, is this person changing along?
Along with you as
it's
well.
a partnership.
Yeah.
You know, it's not enough to leave.
Yeah.
The marriage.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. For me, I think, I really think it's so beautiful because a lot of misconceptions will come with, well, I guess there's a reason why those misconceptions come out, and I'll tell you guys, I'll lead you guys there. When people get married, they tend to kind of leave their friends, their older friends.
I don't like that.
So that's why I said some people don't do it, but because there's that misconception, those friends too leave.
Sometimes
have you noticed
friends
that?
Leave you.
That's what I'm saying. Because there's that misconception of like, oh, maybe she's now, or maybe he's now married or something. So because I don't know, I don't want to believe that you're not wise enough to think for yourself. So I think some people still feel like, whether from both sides now, whether from the person that just got married and decided to leave their friends, or from the side of the friend that is like, oh, I just feel some sort of way. You're now married. Okay, let me move away. That kind of vibe, right?
You have family members stop talking to you.
Yes. I've had a friend.
Did you offend them during the wedding?
No.
Anything could have happened, you know?
Stop talking to
But
me.
even if it's an offense during the wedding itself, for you to just stop talking to somebody that you decide like your family, you have friendship, you have relationship for years. Like, come on. I think there's more to it that has to do with maybe yourself, your personal self, or your society. But anyway, back to the example of the woman. So I don't know your story, but maybe she too kind of left her friendship, or her friendship left her, that she doesn't really have, I guess, a life outside of marriage, that she can decide to just escape from that marriage for a bit, go on a girls trip, everybody go out together, you know, kind of vibe.
You should always have a life outside. Like anytime my husband comes, I said, please, bye-bye.
Yeah, like go hang out, go chill, go be who you used to be. I mean, obviously, be more responsible, because you will not come and tell me, because I used to be the guy that goes to club and come back home at 3 a.m. You come back home at 3 a.m. No, but like still hang out with your guys, go out,
because you need that external communication.
Of course, yeah. So marriage is hard, but it's worth fighting for. That's what I'm hearing here, right? All right, you guys. This has been fun. This has been great.
It really has
We enjoyed every bit of it. Oh, and I actually have a gift for you, right? To kind of appreciate you for coming, for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And also for being vulnerable too, and very open. To, all the conversations that we had today.
Thank you.
So Thank you for coming from Brewing Her.
Thank you.
We present you this, our very first guest, you guys.
Our very first guest.
I am honored. I can't believe I'm the first guest.
You
are. You're our very first guest on this show.
You are.
Amazing.
And I definitely feel like with you being the first, there's going to be more people, because you'll just be opening doors.
So much more. You can't even handle it.
Yes.
I'm so excited. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, ladies.
Thank you so much. All right, you guys, it's been really fun. Remember to subscribe to our channel on YouTube at
BrewingHER Podcast,
and also follow us on social media on Instagram
and TikTok.
Yes.
And it's the same name. So I've made it easy for you guys. You don't need to go and very easy.
Yes. And lastly, please listen to us on Spotify and any
Apple
other
Music.
Apple Podcast, any other platforms that you love to listen to your podcast on. Okay, we're there everywhere you want to be. Like we always say, we want to be your friends.
Yeah, we
want to be your paddy. Just drive and listen to
life changing stories. Summer is coming, road trip is on the way.
Yes, you know.
It's not the time you should listen to
listen and then switch to Brewing Her as well.
Please subscribe to their channel. These are really wonderful women. You would love them.
You have heard from the horse's mouth. Thank you guys so much.
All right,
we'll
till next time
on the next episode. Bye.